Hi guys, as requested, I'm going to take a look at the Shiratsuyu again, and just a few gameplay clips really before we get into the main game that I want to show. Welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy your stay today. So I've got some torpedoes out on the Megami in this game. It's a tier 9 game, by the way. It was quite a tricky game to deal with. So I just want to keep the guy spotted, and I've sent the torpedoes between the islands. As I've stated before, it's always good policy to send your torps between islands. Ships tend to sail in between islands, of course. So I can see the Akatsuki, and I'm pinging my friend just to tell him to shoot him, and he's doing a great job in his Atlanta as always. He's down, and I've managed to torp the Megami as well, so all good. This next part, a bit further on in the game, I noticed that the Bismarck starts to turn in, so I know that I can probably catch him. He has to turn in front of the island, so there's a really good chance, if he doesn't accelerate too hard, that I'll catch him with some torpedoes here. So looking at the minimap, I know that there's a Richelieu near New Orleans, and the Bismarck's turning in, so I'm going to turn out a little bit and maintain a decent distance so I don't get spotted by a potential enemy. There's a King George turned up on the minimap as well in B6, so I'm aware of his position, and I've managed to get a few torpedo hits into the Bismarck, which is great. So here Dufresne's got shots out on the Bismarck and he goes down. Richelieu's pushing in, so I decide to smoke up and just wait for him to come close really. So Richelieu goes undetected, but I've got a fire on him, which is nice, and he's going to be firing his guns. So just manoeuvring in the smoke a little bit, just deciding what I want to do really. I mean, the idea is that he's going to rush in, and it's a quick ship as the Richelieu, so I'm going to just utilise the smoke for a little longer. And I'm thinking at this point I could rush him. We're going to win the game anyway. We're good on points, and a lot of our ships are very close to their cap, so I'm going to rush into the Richelieu. He might have speed boosted at this point, so I decide to just keep one top launcher free and send the second one. He's not going to escape from that, he's dead. And I thought this this bit here was quite amusing. Just watch the torpedo here. Yeah, catch the New Orleans, and obviously die for my trouble, but it was a fun game. So this is the main event. I'm attacking Charlie Cap. Obviously you want to be taking caps whenever you can in a DD early game, but there's 2 enemy CVs in this game. It's going to prove very difficult, and already I'm being spotted outside the Charlie Cap, which is no surprise really with all the planes about. So I'm going to try and manoeuvre in the smoke and not get hit, which I've managed to do so far. By the way, this was a fairly late night game, I think, after one of Atom's streams. I just want to talk about a little bit of the tactical decision making that goes on in this game, playing the Shira. So at this point, you know, I decide CV knows I'm here, I'm in the smoke, so I'm gonna get out of there and try and create a little bit of distance between me and the smoke screen, because it's clearly gonna go back and search for me. So I'm gonna take a bit of a circuitous route really into the Alpha Cap, right? There's no point in hanging around when you know that you're gonna get re-spotted. So you know, the only decent decision is to move away and get out of there. However, not getting the cap early, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst things you can do in a DD. If you don't get the early cap points, there's a great chance that you're going to lose the game later on points, right? So, you know, it's got a double-edged sword, really. I had to move away from the Charlie cap to ensure my survival, which is key if you want to do damage in a game anyway. I mean, if you rush in and get spotted, you're going to get killed, pretty much. You're outgunned by pretty much everything else in the game, so you have to use your tactical awareness and your ability to do damage at range, yeah, with the torpedoes, and stay undetected. It's key, especially in a Japanese DD like the Shiratsuyu. So as you can see here, the enemy Nelson's pushing in quite hard. He's fairly isolated, and our CVs are taking pot shots at him. So I'm just going to try and line up some torps and see if I can get a strike on him. He's just on the edge of the torpedo range at the moment, but he's travelling towards me, so there's a good chance that I'll catch him. He's manoeuvring though, and I don't want him to be aware of my presence at all here. That's also key at this point in the game. So yeah, he's turning away. He's looking for targets, but there's not many about for him to spot. And I'm going to utilise the islands here just to get a little bit closer. I'm going to turn round to the right hand side and travel towards the next island and just reduce the distance really between me and him. The element of surprise is key in Shiratsuyu. So the closer you can get, obviously, there's a greater chance that you're going to get some torpedo strikes. And I get reasonably lucky here, catching with a couple, and you know the torpedoes on the Shira hit like a truck. I took quite a lot of damage out of him, and he's flooding too, which is great. But now the enemy CVs have turned up again with their torpedo bombers and dive bombers. So I'm going to smoke up here and stay in stealth. And the Nelson's got himself into an awkward position, so I'm going to line up for another torp strike on him. I'll probably send one set just on the edge of the island, and then another predicted set to the right, as I believe at this point he's going to travel towards the right. Well, this, you know, again, here, it's always better to stay concealed. I don't want these CVs to know where I am at all. Unfortunately, the decap has been left by the rest of the team, so, you know, it's not looking good. It's fairly grim, to be honest. If I can deal with the Nelson, maybe take the A cap, we might be able to do something. But we're bleeding points at this point, you know. It looks as though it's going to be a loss. Anyway, I get the Nelson, take him down, and now it's time to travel towards Alpha Cap. I remember really regretting not taking the Charlie cap at this point, but I knew that if I stuck around there that I'd get spotted, and I didn't have any support at the time really, so I believe I made the correct decision by moving away. Anyway, we're going to travel towards Alpha and hopefully secure that. At least I've got some cover from RCVs and the two Leanders here as well. I'm really not convinced about the rest of the team though. You know, for me they're in poor positions. Fiji's open water, gunboating by the look of it there. And they're all under pressure from the air. And we've pretty much given away 3 caps, you know. But you've got to think on the positive side of things, and you know, the only thing to do really is just try your best. stay undetected as a Japanese DD, then try and get some damage in where you can. So yeah, we're approaching Alpha Cap, and hopefully we can take this. Be nice to do so. But you know, I've kind of told the enemy CVs exactly where I am at this point, so I know that there's a good chance that I might have to burn my last smoke screen just to take this cap, which is not ideal at all. So the plan is to drive right through the other side of the cap and then possibly turn back into Charlie Cap if I can, but the chances of that at the moment look fairly slim because the enemy have got control of more than half the map really. It's fairly close though still at this point in time, I think. Nürnberg's a bit of an issue here. He's onto my game, so I'm just going to sling some torps out in his general direction. However, he's manoeuvring hard, so I've got absolutely no chance of catching this guy with that salvo. And it looks as though the CVs are coming back as well, so I've turned back round. I really don't want to get caught out in the open. I think retrospectively I should have turned into C a little bit earlier. I'm kind of focusing too heavily here on the Nürnberg that obviously wants to push back into the Alpha Cap and retake it. He sees the threat, you know, so you really can't blame him for doing what he's doing, and he's preventing me now because I've turned out wide from turning back into the Charlie Cap. So now I'm isolated on the flank. So this guy's done a really good job for his team. Kind of have to rely on my Leanders to protect the Alpha Cap now, and I'm going to try and get around the side of the Nürnberg. You know, I'll try and strike him with torps again, but he knows I'm here, so the chances of me getting a torpedo hit on him are really slim. But the more he pushes into me, the more I realise that I'm going to have to do something about this. The Leanders are doing a little bit of damage on him, but I think unless he turns away I'm going to have to smoke up, so I'll just decide to travel towards the CVs now, and there might be a target of opportunity there, I don't know. So yeah, just maintaining distance really. Torps back out on the Nürnberg. And I'm completely stuck here on the border. I mean, I've got myself into a terrible position, so I've got no chance now without smoking up. I'm just going to get spotted, so I decide obviously to smoke up and take some pot shots at the Nürnberg, and he's pretty low, so I think we can probably get him. The guns on the Shiratsuyu are not fantastic, you know, the reload's poor. They do reasonable damage, but you certainly can't rely on them, you know. So Nürnberg's down, thankfully. Now the CVs are searching for me. So I'm I'm going to be cheeky here and drive up to the Vesa, see if I can torp him. And it looks as though he's actually stopped. So the torps are back off cooldown. I'm going to send directly at him. I think we can get him. I just managed to stay out of detection range. As I've said before, it's absolutely key that you don't get hard spotted in this game, especially in a Jap DD, or any DD for that matter. You want the element of surprise, and you want the opportunity to do damage on your terms. So yeah, I'm just biding my time for another opportunity, and it looks as though the enemy CV is pretty much doomed here, which is great. That's a nice dev strike. And the Leander's pushing into a DD, so that's another teammate down the tubes, unfortunately. And I've now got a Miyoko issue, which is even worse than a Nürnberg. So yeah, and I have no smokes at all, so isolated on the border, completely impotent, but he's taking some torps. So there's an opportunity here with guns. I'll fire on him, and hopefully we can get him. Fire up the engine boost and travel towards the low health DD. So, you know, this could have been worse. Could have been far worse. I'm going to take some shots on the Mutsuki. He's manoeuvring like a madman, so the chances of me hitting him with the guns are quite slim, really. And the Furious now knows exactly where I am, so he's going to be hunting me. The rest of the team have kind of pretty much retreated to the Bravo cap. Leon's here though, so maybe he can do something. So yeah, managed to get the Mutsuki, and that's Kraken unleashed. However, I've got no smokes left. The enemy took all the early caps, we're way down on points, and the only opportunity that we've got now is to take the Charlie cap. My BBs seem very reluctant to engage the enemy. They're more interested in running away, I think, at this point. I turned into the airstrike there, which was the wrong thing to do as well. I should have been either bow or stern on to the Furious rocket planes, so that was my bad. And for some reason here I just let the fire burn. I think at this point I've kind of realised that this is a bit of a lost cause, to be honest. And now we're going to see the power of a CV when a DD's known position. There's literally nothing you can do about this. If you haven't got any smoke screens left, you're absolutely screwed, right? All I can do is try and get a few shots on the Furious and see if I can whittle him down at this point. Unfortunately, the BBs aren't hitting him, so he's still got a significant amount of health left. I'm going to travel towards the Charlie cap, and you know, there's only 3 minutes left in the game. If I can get in the Charlie cap and take that, and we get some kills, you know, there's a very slim chance at this point that we could still win the game, but it's very slim. Yeah, it's a shame really. Our team decided to drive away from the Delta cap initially, which did not help the cause, and I obviously drove away from the Charlie cap as well, so that had a significant impact on the outcome of the game too. So I kind of blame myself, you know, because I know at this point There's no chance that we can win this game. The enemy are on 970 plus points, and all I can do is be a damaged pinata for the enemy Furies. After all the decent work that we've managed to achieve. But you know, that's the game. Yeah, so a defeat, yes, but probably a a decent defeat. Okay. And of course, as always, fellas, thank you very much for watching. It's much appreciated, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Hope you keep well.